Okay, so it's time to cut up our HTML templates into Golang templates. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to commit all of these changes to Git because I want to have a copy that I can roll back to if things go wrong. Saving HTML templates, and off it goes. Commit and push. Commit and push. And the fan on my computer is going a little crazy right now. I apologize for that. Hopefully it will stop before too long. Okay, so we already have some HTML templates, and they are in the folder called templates right here. And I can see that I have one for my base layout, one for my home page, one for creating a reservation, and one for the about page. But I don't have one for the rooms yet, so let's create those. So I'll create a new file, which I will call generals.page.tmpl, and I'll add it. And what's our other room called? Can't remember now. That's just rooms. Majors suite. We'll create one for majors as well. So new file, majors.tmpl, add. Okay. So we have one for making a reservation, one for the base layout, and up here we have, under our HTML source, we have about, contact, generals, index, majors, and reservation. So down here I actually don't have a reservation one, so I better create one of those too. New file, and I'll call that search availability.page.tmpl. So I have, let's see, let's make sure we've got them right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, don't count the base, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Okay, so just to get a starting place, I will copy what's on the about page, paste it into generals, and just get rid of what's inside the content. And then I'll create all of this, copy all of this, and put it in majors. Great. So now I have what I need to start cutting things up. So we'll start by looking at the reservation page. This is my HTML page for reservation. And I have everything at the top, I have the content, and then I have the bottom, which includes JavaScript and all sorts of things like that. So I want to make my base page have something at the top on every page. So if we look at the reservation page, we want everything from the declaration of the document type down to and including the navigation. So let's copy that, not cut it, because I might have to go back, go to our base layout, and replace everything in this section before the block content with what I've just copied. Now, do I need to make any changes here? Yes, I need to make a change to reference the static CSS file. It has to have a slash in front of it because we'll be hitting this from our web server. Therefore, it needs to know that the static folder should be found at the root level of the application, which also means that I need to copy the CSS from my HTML source static folder to my actual static folder. So let's drag it down there. I will take that and I'll just move it right over into static, and sure, refactor it, and off it goes. So there it is. So that's been moved in. So I have that part of my base layout at the top. Now I need the bottom. So that would be everything from, I don't need this click me button or that paragraph text, so I'll just get rid of that so I don't confuse myself. That would be the footer, all of these imports, and I'll just take all this JavaScript up to and including the closing HTML tag and put that in my base layout, which replaces just these two things. Paste. All right, let's have a look at this and make sure we didn't miss anything. All right, this block.js doesn't belong there anymore. So that's the section that I can put page-specific JavaScript on individual pages, and I want that to appear just after all of my imports. Okay, now let's go up and look at our navigation. So right now, in our navigation, we're going to have to fix these links as well. It doesn't link to index.html anymore for the home page. It just goes to slash. It doesn't go to about.html. It goes to /about. I better open my roots and make sure I'm doing this right. So open my roots file. About is /about, yes. Okay. Then we have generals and majors, which they don't exist yet, but I'll create the roots now. So I'll call it generals-quarters and /majors-suite. And then I'll create roots for those right now. So I'll just do that like this. Duplicate, duplicate. Generals quarters, which will go to generals, which doesn't exist yet. And majors, is it a plural? Majors, yep, with an S, suite, which will go to majors. Now, just for fun, quickly, let's create those routes, or those handlers. So it can be something as simple as this. Copy, paste, paste, and this will be generals, and this will be majors. And I'm not going to render the template make reservation page. I'm going to render the template majors for majors and generals for generals. So this is generals, generals, and this one will become majors. Okay, so those handlers exist now, so they got to fix these comments. Paste. Renders the room page. And this one is generals. Renders the room page. Okay, so let's make sure our roots aren't errors anymore. They're not. Let's go to our base layout. That looks good. And let's fix our things here. Last one. Reservation.html. That's going to be searching availability. So let's say search availability. That will be our path. Go back to our roots and let's create one for that. What does this one go to? That's the make reservation page. Okay, let's not worry about that. Let's go back to this one. So this is major suite is going to be search availability. And this should take us to availability, which doesn't exist yet. So we'll just go create it. And all we're going to do is render the page. And this will be called availability. Renders the search availability page, and the correct template is called search availability. Okay, so let's try this. Go run command web go. Everything compiled, that's a good sign. Let's create a new tab and go to localhost 8080. Okay, so we got our navigation bar, that's good. The home page link works. The about page link works. General's quarters doesn't have anything in it, but it took us there. Major suite doesn't go anywhere. Why not? What's in the major suite? Render template majors.page.tmpl. Majors.page, because it's got nothing in there. That's why. Okay, but it still should have that. Search availability is empty, so that should be much like this one. Select all, copy, paste, book now. Takes us to search availability. Major suite's the only one that doesn't seem to work. And if I look at the page content, get element I by ID is null. Okay, those are all JavaScript errors. Don't care about those right now. So why is that one not working? Well, let's figure it out. Go to the roots. And the roots say for majors suite / majors suite. And I'm going to / majors suite. Just make sure it's the same. Oops, no quote there. Okay, that's fine. So when I go to major suite, I'm running this handler, which says majorspage.tmpl. Might want to call that template. Let's refactor that. Rename. .page. That's better. Okay. All right, so I think we have, do we check the last ones? Let's close this up. Book now takes us to that. Contact takes us nowhere. Contact.html. We have one more link to fix. So that's under base layout. Let's hide this and make that /contact. Okay. So now we've got to clean up some JavaScript and we've got to clean up some content for the pages. So let's start through them one at a time. We'll go right back to localhost 8080, the home page. And let's get our home page and put that in there. So we can find our index.html. We find the part that's down here, which begins right after the nav and goes all the way down to but not including the footer. Copy that. Go to our home page template and paste it in here. Paste. Save. So when I reload this, that looks better. Good. All right. Okay. One thing I'm going to do, though, is put a slash in front of these statics just to save myself problems in the future. And that should still work. And it does. Okay. And if I scroll down here, it says make reservation now. It's not going to be make reservation anymore. It's going to be search availability. Save that. Reload. And this should take me to my search availability page. And it does. Okay, so the home page is functional. Let's go to the about page. Right now we have stuff in there that we don't need in there. So let's get rid of that. About. I don't need any of this stuff. Okay, I'll just say this is the about page. And save it and reload it, and this is the about page. Okay, let's go to our rooms page. We'll start with the general's quarters. So we find our generals up here. We find the content that's after the nav, which starts here and goes down to but does not include the footer. Copy that. And we open up our generals page and paste that in the content section. Okay, save that. So now, is there anything I need to fix in there? Yes, let's put a slash in front of the static for the picture and reload the generals page. Nope, still not there. Slash static images generals dash quarters dot ping. Do I have that? No, I don't. So let's copy those pictures over. Generals quarters and majors quarters go into images. Refactor. Okay, that's better. So close this, close that, and let's see what's next. Next is Majors Suite. So we just get our content out of Majors right here, everything below the nav, and not including the footer. Copy that, open our Majors template, which is right here, paste that in the content section, put a slash in front of static for images. Okay, and let's reload that. Perfect. Okay, next we have Book Now, which is search availability. So we got to get the search availability part, which I believe we called reservation.html. We did. So get everything not including the footer and not including the nav. So copy that. Paste that into search availability right in the content block. Save that. Do I need to fix any path names? The action I'll leave empty. Don't need that right now. And I should be able to reload that. Does it work? Okay, that doesn't work. Why not? Oh, we'll sort that out in a minute. Let's see if we have any more pages to do first. Contact is slash contact, which doesn't exist because we don't have a handler. So let's go back and create the handler, which is under roots. Roots. So we don't have a contact, so let's just create a contact, slash contact, which should go to a handler called contact. Contact, and not search availability page, but contact page. Does that exist? About general, no, we don't have a contact page, but we can do that pretty quickly. So we'll just copy this one, or the about page is even easier. Select all, copy, create a new template, new file, contact.page.tmpl, paste it in there and say this is the contact page. Okay, and go back to our roots and make sure we link those up. There they are. Contact goes to contact. Okay, so let's stop this, run that, and we should now be able to get to the contact page. And we can. All right, so what seems to be broken right now, we're going to have to hook that up in a minute, but it's under this Book Now. My dates, my calendar's not showing up. Uncaught error, document get element by ID. So here's a JavaScript error, and we're going to see this a lot. And it says it's on search availability 132. So if I click on that, it should show me that line. And it does. So let's make this bigger. And it's saying get element by ID, aha, color button. So there's that, that's what's causing me grief. My JavaScript on every page is throwing a JavaScript error. because I'm saying as soon as it executes the page, it's finding this script tag and it's saying, go get the document with the ID of color button. Well, we deleted that, so we don't have that anymore. Also, it doesn't belong on this page. So let's just find that. And it should be on my base layout. This part that says document get element by ID right here. So this, including that HTML form and this attention, that's causing grief. So I need to cut that out of there because I'm going to use it somewhere else. And I don't want to lose it, so I'm just going to create a temporary file. And I'll just use my favorite text editor, Sublime, and paste it in there because I'm going to need that in a minute. So if I now save this page, that JavaScript error should go away. Let's make sure it does. We'll bring up the console, clear it out, and reload the page. So it's just not finding a fave icon. Don't care about that. But this should work. And it does. Perfect. So we have that working. Now the last thing I want to do is have that dialog pop up on this page. That means I need to put a listener on that button. So let's go to the general quarters page, which is right here. And I'm going to put JavaScript that exists only on this page, which means I can go in the section, just as I go up here, define content, I can say define JS, because that's what I called that block. So whatever I put in here, end. So if I put just a comment in here like this, script console.log hello, not a comment, we'll put a console log in there, and then I go back and reload the general quarters page and view the source and scroll to the bottom, I should have general's quarters. Okay, so there's that. Good. I should have somewhere in here console.log. There it is. So because I put it on that page, this script appears only on the general's quarters page because I put it in this block right here, define JS, which is actually defined in the base layout right down here. So that allows me to put HTML that's specific to that particular page, or JavaScript that's specific to that particular page only on that page. All right, so let's go back to the general's layout and say, what do we actually want in here? Console.log hello is not very helpful. We actually want this button, which is right here, has a link. I'm going to give that this hash mark exclamation point called hash bang. That just says don't do anything if you click on this. But I'm going to give this an ID, and I'll call it ID check availability button. That's its ID, okay? And that JavaScript I saved a little while ago, I'll copy out of here, and I'll paste it down here. And I'll just say document get by ID, not color button. I want this to be that check availability button. When that's clicked, create this HTML in a variable and fire up that little prompt that we did a while ago. Let's see if that works. So back to my web browser, reload the general's quarters page, clear this off, reload. E is null, date picker full min.js. And it's saying date picker full min.js. So there's an error there. Okay, let's just ignore that for the moment. We'll come back to it. Let's see if this works. And it does, except I didn't put my z-index in there. All right, so let's go put the z-index in there. I must not have copied that over when I copied over the CSS. So that's under static CSS styles, date picker, z-index 1000 should be 10,000. I must have deleted that 0 without realizing it. Let's try that again. Reload, check availability, that's better. Now we still have this error here. Date picker full min.js. And it's saying it can't, E is null. So it's trying to create a date picker and it can't find one. Well, what else am I doing wrong then? Under my generals page, I have document get element by ID, log that. I bet over here on my base layout, I'm trying to create a date picker even if there is not one. There it is right there. So this should not fire unless there's actually a date picker on that page, which means I can cut it out of here And what page do I actually need that date picker on? Well, the only page I need it on, because I'm adding it programmatically on this button, is this page over here, Book Now, which is search availability. So I can just put this right in its page-specific JavaScript. So define JS script, paste that in there, and then put my end for the block. And that should work. And there should be no JavaScript errors on this page. So I'll clear this off, reload that, and it's the fav icon. Don't care about that. That's just a little favorite icon that will appear up here or on some browsers, or when you bookmark it and put it on your bookmarks bar. Don't care about that. I'll do that as one of the last things in this entire project. Let's just make sure that we have no more JavaScript errors. So, homepage, no JavaScript errors. I'll make this a little narrower so I get my menu back there. About, good. Just the whole not found the fav icon. Don't care about that. Rooms, general's quarters, good. I still have to hook up the button here on this suite, but there should be no errors, and there's not, just the fav icon not showing up. Book Now, and I should have my calendars, and I do, and contact. Perfect. All right. So the only thing missing is a favorite icon and this one button over here, which is easy enough to do. I can just go back to my generals page, copy this define JS part and its end block, open up my majors page, and put it in right here at the very bottom. And when I save that and go back to the major suite and reload the page, I have uncaught error. Oh yes, I got to give the button an ID. So let's just copy the button right off the generals page. This one, 1, 2, 3, copy. Go to the majors page and paste it in there. And now reload it, and life should be good. And it is. And I have my calendars. All right. So what we've done is we've copied all of our HTML from our static pages into our Golang templates, and we've created our necessary forms, and we're pretty much ready to go. We also have our handlers. Let's just make absolutely sure that we didn't miss anything. So when I go to my roots file, which is right over here, I have everything including make reservation. Let's make sure that one shows up the way it's supposed to. So I don't think I actually tested that one. And go back to Firefox and paste that part of the URL here and hit return, and there's the page. And that should do exactly what it's supposed to do. Perfect. So we're all set. Now we can actually start doing something in Go to handle posting searches for reservations, making reservations, all that fun stuff. And eventually we'll get around to making a favorite icon just so we don't see that error showing up in our console. All right. That was a little disorganized, but it always is. Whenever I'm cutting up HTML templates, I invariably make mistakes, and you will too. So I'm not going to edit any of these mistakes out. I'm just going to leave them there so you can see how it actually works, even for someone that's been working in this field for a very long time. That's enough for this time around. We'll pick it up again in the next lecture.